This is The Sports Life.
Here we go. Aaron Craft, high on the right, 5 seconds left. Craft, top of the key. Craft, still dribbling, 3 seconds left. Craft shoots it high on the right for three. Got it! Aaron Craft with a tenth of seconds left. He knocks it down from right of the key, 78-75. Ohio State, as Aaron Craft, in the face of the defense, sticks a major league basket down.
Paul Keel's talking about Aaron Craft being Aaron Craft. And welcome into our Sports Life show. We'll team in here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, today's show is a little basketball heavy. We got a pretty good lineup for you. And one of the guests I think you're really going to enjoy is Rutgers head men's basketball coach Steve Pikiell. Steve is entering his 11th season with the Scarlet Knights, and the topic is going to be pretty fascinating in some regards. His take on the changing landscape of college basketball and the best way to navigate it, as well as a look at today's players, not to mention the brand new 5-year rule and the expanding NCAA tournament to 76 teams. Man, that sounds weird.
76, everybody's in there.
Didn't they do some show about 76 trombones or something?
Yeah, maybe.
There we go. Okay.
You're right, though. It'll be fascinating to get his take. It'll also be fascinating to get the take of Ant Wright, because now the NBA draft deadline for players to enter and go into the NBA or come back to college basketball, that's come and gone. And now we know how it affects the Big Ten Conference and who that puts at the top. We'll be hearing from Ant Wright a little bit later on and who he thinks is at the top of the mountain right now.
Well, as we take a look at some of the magic moments of the Big Ten, let's talk about 2013.
And what a great way to get it started with that Aaron Craft bucket at the very top of the show. Well, the basketball season ends up belonging to the Indiana Hoosiers when it comes to the regular season. Tom Crean and Indiana end up winning the Big Ten title, and it came down to pretty much the finish of the regular season with a huge win over the Michigan Wolverines. Here's the voice of Indiana, Don Fisher.
Indiana gets the rebound. Zeller has the ball with Jordan Hall. Indiana can take the lead. Now, Yogi Ferrell drives it to the right side. Works down by Burke. Bounces into Cody. Puts it up. Scores! Cody Zeller, his 25th point of the afternoon. And that's a season high in points. Now, 10 seconds to go. Trey Burke takes it to the left side. Down inside he goes. He puts it up with the left hand. No good. Tipped up. And no good again. Batted away. Tipped into Cody. Indiana's going to win it. They win it. Indiana has won it. Holy cow, what a finish. Indiana beats Michigan 72-71, and they win the Big Ten title outright.
Don Fisher is jacked. They won.
How do you not love listening to an excited Don Fisher?
I just love listening to him any time of day. I don't care. He's just wonderful. And Tom Crean was head coach then. They would win again in 2016. That would be 2 Big Ten titles under Coach Crean, and by 17, he's gone.
It's just wild to think about what it's been like for Indiana basketball. Hey, and we should also mention, things worked out all right for that Michigan team. They ended up going to the national championship game, lost to Louisville, which is now vacated. So all pretty good things happening with Big Ten basketball in that season. And there were some special things happening in Big Ten football in the year 2013. This was a year to remember if you're a Michigan State Spartan, because well, for starters, you're Big Ten champs, and you end up beating the Buckeyes led by Urban Meyer in 2013 in the Big Ten title game. Some critical plays late, stopping Braxton Miller on a 4th down and a Jeremy Langford touchdown that sealed the deal for the green and white. Here's the plays called by the voice of the Spartans, George Blaha.
Spencer set short side right. Braxton Miller will run that way. He's hit. He's hit down. He didn't make it. He is hit down. Didn't make it. Denikos Allen with the play of the night. Hand off to Jeremy. Up the gut to the 15.
He's on his feet, George.
He's on his feet. He's into the end zone. Touchdown MSU. The Spartan sideline explodes. Everybody in green and white at Lucas Oil Stadium going crazy.
George Blaha, Jason Strayhorn on that call for Michigan State. The game, Dalton, was a little bit like a basketball game. It was a game of runs. MSU had a big run. Ohio State had the big run, but MSU had the biggest run, the final 10 points of that game.
And the biggest run literally with that Langford touchdown you just heard a moment ago to seal the deal. And by the way, that doesn't just make Michigan State Big Ten champions. That also sent them to the Rose Bowl, the 100th Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Michigan State and Stanford comes down to the very end, and yet again, it's the defense coming up huge with a fourth down stop. Kyler Ellsworth would send the Stanford Cardinal back and give Michigan State a Rose Bowl championship.
4th and a yard for Stanford at their 34. Spartans 24, Stanford 20. Minute and 46 to go in the Rose Bowl. Hogan under center. Long count. Hands to Gaffney. He's hit. He won't go anywhere. He won't go anywhere. Michigan State stops Stanford and stuffs them at the line of scrimmage. And the Spartans are on their way to a win in the Rose Bowl.
Woo! And they were. And one of the interesting things about that game, historically speaking, as was mentioned, the 100th Rose Bowl, it will also be the last time that it would be like the traditional Rose Bowl, a champion from the Big Ten and a champion from the Pac-12. Well, when we come back with more of the Sports Life, a fun chat with Ant Wright, as we're going to talk some college basketball, who won and who lost when the clock hit midnight in terms of who's in or out of the NBA draft. It's all coming up in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Every kid deserves a chance to feel safe, to have their own bed, to be loved and cared for. That's why I love my foster parents. They make me feel like part of the family.
Raise hope and foster dreams for one of 13,000 Michigan children in foster care. Visit michigan.gov/hope for a home or call 855-MICH-KIDS. That's 855-MICH-KIDS. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-965-1292. 800-965-1292. That's 800-965-1292.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor?
Yes, I am.
Yay. My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. We'll team in here along with Dalton Shetler. And don't forget, auto owners insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you. Well, the magic hour, midnight, came and went. Which college players stayed in the NBA draft? Which decided to come back and play one more year of college basketball? Well, one of the guys who's the best at dissecting what is happening in the sport of college basketball is probably the nation's best podcaster when it comes to that, and that is Ant Wright. And Ant, thanks for joining us. And so I just figured we let you start. Any big surprises of anybody that stayed or left?
In the Big Ten, no. Well, actually, kind of with Bryson Tucker. That's his own thing. And then you have Koa Pete from Arizona. I think people were very 50-50 on that. And then I would say maybe Billy Richmond from Arkansas, who could have snuck into the first round late. But you're just seeing the impact of NIL again. Bringing back some really talented players, and it should be another great season next year.
Well, and I want to ask you here too, Am, because I think maybe the most dramatic of all was Jeremy Fears Jr., who almost waited to midnight to announce that he was coming back to East Lansing. That seemed to have the biggest impact of all the names out there. What does this decision mean for Jeremy Fears? What does it mean for Michigan State? What does it mean for the league?
Means everything for them. I mean, even down to getting the big from Charlotte, that transfer. He had said that he was coming back earlier in the day, so it was overall a really good day for Michigan State. I know they lost their president, but they were able to get back probably the most important player in college basketball next year for their team. When you're talking about if he's there or not, that's the difference between, contending to play in the Final Four in Detroit and, just trying to scratch to get out the first weekend possibly. So they have a talented team coming back. They're going to need to get a lot of growth and development from their front court. Losing Kohler and losing Cooper, those are really, really big losses that I hope people don't try to understate. And they need McCullough and they need the Charlotte transfer. I'm saying Charlotte transfer because I don't know how you pronounce the last name. I don't know if it's Bonk or Bonky. I'm not sure, or Bonke. As soon as I learn how to pronounce it correctly, I'll be able to say more about him. But it says a lot about that team. And, they're going to be top 10 in the country coming in, and they're going to be a first-tier Big Ten team alongside Michigan and Illinois. So it should be a great Big Ten season.
In terms of those who stayed in the draft, can we talk about those a little bit in terms of the Big Ten?
There were no surprises. You have Hans Steinbach from Washington. He had a great season. He put up monster numbers. It was 18-12, 19-12, just absolutely nuts. He's going to be a first-round guy, easily first-round guy. Bennett Sturts, what he was able to do at Iowa, pretty much live up to every expectation he had. The monster front court trio for Michigan. They've just been moving, flying up draft boards, and they had great combines. And the way that these playoffs have gone, Morris Johnson and Yaxel Lindenberg, their stock, I think, have gotten even higher. Who else is out there? There are, Keaton Wagler. How can I forget about that guy? Him coming in as he was ranked, I think, 261st incoming freshman on the 24/7 composites, and he's going to go probably somewhere in the mid lottery. Just an outstanding season for him, and him being able to go and be pretty much. It's going to be, 3 straight years that Illinois is going to have a guard go first round. They had Yaka Jonas last year, and then before that they had Terrence Shannon Jr. And you're going to see a lot more of that this coming year. I don't think the amount of first round lottery type picks in the Big Ten next year, but we're still going to have a good amount of NBA prospects.
And I want to mention here, too, by the way, just to clarify for you and everybody, Anton Bonk. Bonk is how you pronounce it. So we're all learning for the new Michigan State big guy. But talking about Jeremy Fears Jr., Look, a lot of momentum went into maybe him leaving for the NBA draft because of how well he was performing in some of the different workouts. I was curious if you could speak a little bit to what the improvement that everybody saw from Jeremy Fears in the last couple of months was. And also, I mean, you talk about Illinois there. Stojakovic comes back to Champaign. How big of a deal is that?
Yeah, so like just the ability, just the ability to just lead the team and just be that guy. The way that he's been able to navigate ball screens, the way that he's been able to will their team to something. And at times, like, he was their only scoring option. And as an undersized guard with a jump shot that he's still trying to improve, to still be that guy and will the Spartans in ways to, make them competitive was something. And you can kind of say the same thing about Stojakovic, who really bought into that six-man role to come in and get buckets, come in and be aggressive. But more than anything else, like, he showed that he can be a really tenacious defender. So him being able to, at one point, I believe, was a bit frustrated, but then was able to find ways to, impact the team at a high level, just shows a lot of maturity from him. But getting those two guys back is just monster, just not only from an offensive side, but also a defensive side. And interestingly enough, both of them are going to be working on their jump shots a great deal coming into next season.
Okay, as you break it down, everybody likes to know who wins and loses, right, Ant? So as you look at the guys who lost players early, and then some guys got their players back from the NBA draft, who were the winners in the Big Ten? Who were the losers?
I would say the winners in the Big Ten, I would say, honestly, low-key, Nebraska. Nebraska was a big winner. They had both Price Sanford and Frager. Both of those guys, they were showing up on draft boards. Neither one of them even put their name in. I thought that was a huge thing. Illinois and Michigan State, big winners as well. Michigan, big winners. You're looking at what Michigan's done to get their backcourt back, go out, get a McDonald's All-American who's a very good player, and re-up their front court was really good what they did. Honestly, I love their staff. I love these guys, but I will say some of the losers are, Wisconsin losing Blackwell, and I'm not sure if they did enough to replace him. I'm probably going to regret this, but Purdue might be a loser. They lose Braden Smith. They lose Trey Kaufman-Wren. They lose Fletcher Lawyer. It's going to be a new page in the book, but they're going to be relying on a true freshman in Hertel to come in, run the team. Of course, they have Meyer coming back and C.J. Cox coming back, but they still lack athleticism. And if you're lacking that athleticism, how are you going to replace an All-American Bob Cousy winner and one of the best low-block scoring bigs in the country? I don't know how they're going to do that. And they didn't go in the portal. And it's just one of those things where I just don't think they're going to be bouncy enough to really compete in the league next season. So I will go them as probably one of the bigger losers from, a program who we expect to be near the top pretty much year in and year out.
Ant Wright, one of the best bloggers when it comes to college basketball. Thanks for joining us. And I know it's May, but you have a way of being right on things. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Don't jinx me too hard, man.
We'll try not to. Appreciate it, Ant.
See you guys. Thanks again.
There you go. Some of the insight from Ant Wright. And Dawn, one of the great things about him, I don't care if it's May, June, July, August, September, he just has a way of kind of having his pulse on it, and it tends to work out a lot of times the way he says it. Well, when we come back, we're going to do a little bit of a profile piece on one of the best coaches in all of college basketball. Guy's doing a great job, and he doesn't have all the resources he would like, but he's still pretty good. That's Steve Pikiell of Rutgers. It's all coming up in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584. That's 800-810-1584.
That ought to do it. Totally energy efficient.
Oh no, not again. This time, we're getting help.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the battle of energy efficiency improvements. In this corner, Mr. I can save money and do it on my own. And in this corner, Miss Let's Get It Done Right with some help. Fight! Or you could just go to avoidenergydrama.com. From sealing your home to helpful loan options, you'll find all the tips and tools you need to stop wasting energy and stay comfortable. Avoidenergydrama.com. Brought to you by Michigan Saves.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you can't measure it on your bathroom scale. Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own. You won't find a bipolar disorder by looking at a thermometer. Like many other health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a stick-on bandage. So the sooner you seek treatment, the better. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support. That's samhsa.gov/support.
And welcome back from more of the Sports Life. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, if you go back to the 2016-17 men's basketball season, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers were far removed from their glory days of the 75-76 season when they ended the regular campaign undefeated while earning a berth into the Final Four. In 2015, as Rutgers was heading into its third season as a member of the Big Ten Conference, it was riding the wave of 10 straight losing seasons and possessed a grand total of 3 Big Ten wins and 2 last-place finishes. So as a possible solution to this performance problem, Rutgers turned to Steve Pikiell, the head coach at Stony Brook. The Sea Wolves were coming off a 26-win campaign, owning regular season and postseason tournament championships in the American East Conference, and advanced into the NCAA tournament. Well, under Pikiell's watchful eye, Rutgers has advanced into the postseason 5 times, including 2 trips into the NCAA tournament. And they have gone from per-game crowds of 1,000 or less to 92 straight sellouts. Well, with all that being said, joining us today is a man behind the turnaround, head coach Steve Pikiell. And Steve, as always, thanks for joining us. And I thought we might start our conversation at the beginning of your coaching career. When you got done playing at Connecticut in '91, you became a Husky grad assistant, and you have been coaching ever since. So question number one, best way to describe how the college coaching landscape has changed since you entered the profession some 34 seasons ago.
Wow, that's we may have to do a whole show on that. From day one, and I was blessed. I played at University of Connecticut, and then I got a job with the Hall of Fame coach Jim Calhoun, and started my career coaching with him, and that was an unbelievable way to start because I didn't understand half the things he was doing when I was playing for him, and then I understood the method behind the madness when I worked for him. But basketball was just a little different then. It's 15 scholarships at that time, and there were no extra benefits in any way, shape, or form. There weren't as many rules. Coach Calhoun, I'd speak to him often, and I talk to him about the 20-hour limit. And he's like, I think I went 20 hours one day with you guys, in the way he did it. But, just a lot of rules. The game is still the game, and the competitiveness and, the great coaching that's out there. I was in, the old Big East when it was Syracuse, and it was, those kind of teams. And, so the leagues and the conference alignments have changed, and the scholarship stuff has changed, but I still believe in our mission. The mission is to graduate kids. It's getting harder, and it's not as much a priority right now, but I still believe in that, and developing guys. That's what we did back then, and we still want to do that and help them move forward in their careers, and be better parents, and be better husbands, and be better, basketball players, all those kind of things. So, we have a lot more going on now. I think today I was on a phone with like 5 lawyers, never in my 35 years of coaching, were lawyers. You couldn't talk to agents really back in the day. I spend a lot of time now with agents, and, so the times have changed, and you got to continue to roll with them. But I still believe in that core, bring kids in that, represent your program the right way in your university, and get them to work hard, and get them to be good people, and, get them to, be better in life once they leave you. So I think that's part of it. But yeah, it's been, I've become a part-time lawyer, which I didn't anticipate 35 years ago. I've become a PR guy, mental health guy. I don't remember if we ever talked about that. I had an APR meeting the other day with the academic progress rate, and I'm like, we still have that rule? Like, nobody talks about it anymore. So it's been a lot of changes, but I try to stay true to my core.
Well, Steve, of all those things you mentioned, is it possible to pick the most difficult part of being a major college head basketball coach these days?
It just pulls you in a lot of different directions. And some of the coaches in our league make that thing look easy, but you're always being pulled between fundraising now, and between, name, image, and likeness, and between, your time, with lawyers and with agents. Don't do as much basketball as I used to do. I used to think I was doing 50% and then 50%, fundraising, and 50%, media obligations, and 50%, recruiting and doing some different things, and probably spend more like 80% and then 20% now with the basketball. So, it's really changed in that way. But we have more time on the court with the guys. We have time in the summertime, which, the old rules didn't allow that. So there's been some good rules that have been implemented that, that have helped in some of those areas. But, just the way you go about your business has changed.
Steve, isn't that a crazy statement to say, as the head basketball coach at Rutgers, you spend 20 of your time in the off season coaching, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, when you're always trying to put your roster together, when you are always in flux, and as soon as the season ends, you know, the portal season opens, and that is an unbelievable, you know, time. I mean, and someone asked me the other day, how do you describe it? And I said, well, if everyone probably that listens and everyone that's, you know, has tried at some point in time to buy a house, you know, and how buying a house and how taxing and stressful that is. Well, how about if 3,000 houses go on the market in 4 days, and you got to find the house that fits you, and you got to get the mortgage approved, and you got to figure out what renovations need to be made with that house, and you got to decide, you know, which one you're taking and which location and which area, and you got to do that in a short period of time. So it's you know, it's a really stressful, you know, time, and you're trying to fight to keep your own players too. So the guys that you built a relationship with and that you've, you know, put minutes into as freshmen or sophomores or juniors, and you invested a lot, and you're trying to, you know, convince them too to stay and come back, you know, and then you got to go and find which, you know, new guy, you know, is out there that can help your roster, and you got to do that all in a really, really short period of time. And so, you know, that has changed. And while you're out there just trying to get the makeup of your roster right, you know, the last thing you're really putting time into is, you know, some of the drills and some of the things you want to implement because you don't have your roster yet.
You know, it's interesting when you got to Rutgers, Steve, obviously things weren't going great. And within a few years, you've got the Scarlet Knight in postseason play. You lost a tournament year because of COVID, but basically you put together what I would consider 4 postseason in a row teams, and then NIL hits, roster retention becomes a problem. So now that we are all kind of used to it, if that's possible, what were some of the adjustments you made to kind of right that ship?
Well, I will tell you, you know, my number one person in the portal, and she's the number one recruit, was our new athletic director, Kelly Zinn. And she came to us from LSU, and she has come in with just an energy and a knowledge and you know, in a will to, you know, put our NIL program where everyone else is trying to be. So she was our number one, you know, acquisition, you know, in the portal, and she's gone about hiring a team of people, which we did not have. And she's made some great hires between lawyers and between marketing people and all the other things that go around, you know, the new college, you know, athletics landscape. And, you know, she meets every day, and we have now people waking up every day thinking about, you know, how they can make this better for, you know, our student athletes. So we were able to navigate that. We had a time where we had an interim athletic director, probably not a great time to have an interim. And we were going through a presidential change too. So, you know, we had some major hurdles there, and especially in this landscape where athletics is changing by the week. And, you know, I think we have a great president now and a great AD, and, you know, they've really tackled the issue and have done a really, really good job to put us, you know, where we need to be.
Well, Steve, as you go into the next season, it looks like your roster retention is really good. It seems like you guys have found the sweet spot here.
Well, I will tell you, and again, that's Kelly's in, you know, retention was the number one thing. And I think the teams in our league that have done a great job with retention, you know, obviously Purdue kept all their core guys, and the job Tom Izzo does keeping all his core guys. And, you know, so continuity, I think, is a huge thing. And this was the first year that we were able to keep our, you know, our best defensive player, our best scorer, our best team leader, our really good young, exciting prospects, you know, that were freshmen that did some awesome things. And so we were able to really, you know, retain the guys that we were, you know, very excited about. And then we were able to go out on the market and add, you know, quality people and workers and some positions we needed. And so, it all starts with, the administration and giving you some of the resources to be able to do that. But retention was number one, and we were able to do that in the past. We couldn't do that. So it was a great feeling to be able to, get guys back that have been through some wars and have been through some battles in this league. Hopefully they'll all take a jump now and they'll be a year better in our system. And then the guys that we've added will add tremendous value.
You talked earlier about developing players and kind of old school thinking, which is how you build programs. How tough is it when you get a young guy and you're bringing him along? And I think everybody agrees you can't coach experience. So now they're ready to make the next step and then they leave. How tough is that for everybody?
It is real tough. And, I think, you look at players and I've always been one, and I was blessed, to get some good players. And I was able to play like Ron Harper Jr. as a freshman. And he probably wasn't ready for all those minutes, but I knew they would pay dividends, down the road as a sophomore and as a junior. I was able to redshirt Miles Johnson, who was a really good player for us, a big guy. And, because I knew it would pay dividends down the other end of the road. And so you used to be able to do those kind of things and invest in your freshmen and give them some quality minutes so that they'll stick around and really help you and the program down the road. And, you really have to look at your programs differently now and understand and hope that you can get the right quality kids with great character, that when you do, invest those minutes in them, they stick around and they reward you for playing them when, maybe they weren't quite ready for all those kind of minutes, especially in a league like this. But it gets really hard. You get attached to kids and you like to sweat with them and you think they've made some tremendous strides. And, I understand too, the value of going out there and getting more resources somewhere else. So that's a hard, pull on the heartstring, get some more money and put yourself and your family in a better situation. So it's a constant battle, but I'm still an old school guy. And I think, the kids that have great relationships have been with me. And, that's been a big change in coaching. I think it's been a great big change for your fan base too. Also appreciate that they got these different opportunities to, help themselves. And, you hope that you could be part of helping them and you could also help them achieve their goals of graduating and getting better. But, sometimes all those things don't coincide.
Well, Steve, do you have a moment where you can stick around, just be with us a little bit longer?
I would love to stick around.
Sounds good. Well, when we come back with more of our chat with Rutgers head basketball coach Steve Pikiell, we're going to talk about their brand new facilities. And we're going to talk about his feelings when it comes to the 5-year rule and 76 teams in the NCAA tournament. Back with more in just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little, but thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
So I graduated last year and got a job. Sweet! But it got boring. I didn't really have a purpose. Then I started volunteering with Community Action. It's a statewide network with 29 agencies across Michigan. Community Action helps people with food, housing, utilities, childcare, senior services, you name it. I found my purpose, helping people, changing lives. Won't you join me? Call 1-855-MI-ACTION or go to MichiganCommunityAction.org. Sponsored by Michigan Community Action and Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. That's 800-562-2407. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
And welcome back with more of the Sports Life. We'll team in here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, our profile guest this week is Rutgers head basketball coach on the men's side, Steve Pikiell. And so far, Coach Pikiell has discussed the continual changing landscape in the world of college basketball, how it affects coaching priorities, and what today's players are like, and the best way to stay competitive. So, Steve, thanks for hanging around. So, one thing we've not talked about yet is this brand new facility you're currently sitting in. It's a $115 million structure. It's got meeting rooms, practice facilities, and it makes a statement about Rutgers basketball. So I guess my first question here is, how big a statement is that for Rutgers basketball, and what does it really mean?
You know what? It's been huge for us, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of a place where, you know, we have nutrition and we have health and wellness and we have conditioning, strength and conditioning. We have academics. Obviously, there's a nutrition place, you know, where they can eat. And we have a 24 hours a day basketball facility that, you know, we don't share with anybody. So that's been a huge emphasis here to make players better and have a facility that, you know, emphasizes, you know, getting better and 24 hours a day, you know, access to recovery rooms and all the different, you know, things that this building does for us. And it's, you know, helps women's basketball. We also have, you know, wrestling in there. Our wrestling coach does a great job, and gymnastics too. So it houses 4 sports, and I think we've all benefited greatly from this facility.
Well, one more question about Rutgers basketball, and then I'd like to ask you a couple questions about the bigger picture, the NCAA basketball landscape. 95 straight sellouts, Steve. I remember going to that building where there was virtually nobody in it. What has been the magic here?
Well, I tell you, we have, you know, loyal and awesome fan base. You know, our marketing team does a fantastic job with our students, you know, to make that an event. And the students, you know, do a great job, obviously. In any of the venues in the Big Ten, it's always, you know, about the students. But I also think our guys do a really good job. Our players get to other events. They get to soccer games. They're at football games. They're very present in this university, on this campus. And I think that helps, you know, generate the sellouts and people come in. And, you know, we've had season ticket holders for years. They continue to come and support. And, you know, they get to see great basketball too. I mean, it truly is. And I've said this for years now. I know we won the national champion. Michigan wins the national championship. So that was always what people were holding over this league. But this league is the best league, I think, coaching wise. I think fan support wise. I think, you know, talent. in the country, and everyone argues year to year to year, but consistently, these brands in this league are just, awesome. And, the fans here like to see really good basketball. So when Purdue comes to town, they're excited. When Hall of Fame coaches come to town, Tom Izzo, and the job that Dusty's done at Michigan, and when Greg Gard comes in from Wisconsin, I mean, they draw too. People want to see UCLA. People want to see, the teams, in this league. And, that's been a great part of it. But my staff did a fantastic job early on too, like just generating excitement and getting people here. And then, it's just kind of gone from there. And then obviously the success helps, but it's all about the players.
Well, we have a new 5-year rule. 5 years, that's what you get. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I really think there's, some great ideas being floated around. And, I'm hopeful that gives us a little structure. We went from having a ton of structure in college athletics to the point where we couldn't put cream cheese on a bagel. We had rules for that, to, now having waivers and having, there's been 28-year-olds I think we've played against on the regular, 27-year-olds, 26-year-olds. So, to put, college athletics in a place with a 5-year window and, hopefully eliminating all the waivers, and, some kids will get an opportunity to play 5 years. Obviously, injury is always a part of the game, but you get 5 years. Like, that's where your window is. And I think that would give tremendous structure. And I like having, some rules and some boundaries, because right now we're just trying to do whatever we can to make our roster better. If it's a 26-year-old in Europe, we're able to go and do that. And I think these are the kind of things that will, help give us some guidelines as coaches, because that's the hardest thing when the rules change in the middle of the game and you don't really know. Even when the 5-for-5 came up, I'm like, does that affect this year's guys? Are we going to have another 500 kids that are available that didn't put their name in a portal? Like some boundaries, I think really, helps everybody.
The NCAA field looks like 76 now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just think there's a lot more teams in the NCAA. I always just look back to when all this stuff was done. We're still dealing with APR, and APR's academic progress rate. Kids couldn't transfer every year. Kids had to sit out. It was a totally different standard, and that rule hasn't changed. We're still going on the rule from 25 years ago when college athletics has changed. So, I think the same thing with the NCAA tournament. Like, when they set that number at 64 and then it went to 68, there was a lot less Division I teams, and there was a lot, more opportunities back in the day. So, just to add 8, I don't think it's a huge number, and it's going to give 8 more teams a chance to enjoy what is, I think, the best sporting event of all time. So, I think that's, a positive. It's going to certainly be a positive for 8 more programs to enjoy, and a great experience for student athletes.
Well, Steve, here's my final question. You've been in this coaching biz since 91 as a grad assistant, or 92, I should say, grad assistant on. Do you still love it?
Oh, no. The one thing I love the competition, and I love the preparation, the game planning, especially in a league like ours, because every game is different. There's such good coaches in the league, and some coaches are playing a lot of zone. Some coaches are pressing. Some coaches send everybody to the backboards, and some coaches send nobody to the backboards, and I love the challenge that every game brings, because I say one day you'll play a team, and for 3 days you're leading up to that game, and you're teaching you got to box out, or you got to get back in transition. And then as soon as that game's over, you have to get your team in a room and say, okay, what I told you for that game, just forget about it, because this team walks the ball up, and they're going to play zone, and they're going to, and I love the challenges that, that brings your staff, but it also brings your team, and the excitement that this league brings, and the excitement to play on the road in this league, and, to play home games. So, I got into coaching a long time ago because I love basketball. I continue to love I love the basketball aspects of it, and I love, the preparation, and I love the development. I love to see, Ron Harper Jr. go from a guy that wasn't as confident, and now he's playing for the Celtics and signed a 2-year deal, and and I think back to all his journey through, and and not just him, but just all the guys. I talked to Ace Bailey the other day, and the year he had as a rookie in the league, and then I talked to a lot of guys from Europe and the journey that they were on. So I really love that part. I still believe that's why you get into coaching, is to be on that journey with, young men and journey for their dreams, whether they be academic dreams or basketball dreams, and try to help them along the path if you can. And, along the way, you're being a part of sports and learning all the lessons that sports brings. So I really enjoy, that. And I'm thankful to Rutgers. I love coaching in this league. I love this university. It's spectacular. And I think we're ranked number 13 in the last poll's public universities in the country. Place is exploding here. So it's really, it's really a great job.
So with everything you've just said, Steve, is it fair to say players still want to be coached because they still want to be good?
I do believe that. I really do. I think the players have stayed the same. There's just more. I think there's just more around them now, and it's their world. There's more around them with the phones. I mean, the phone brings a whole level of mental health, and the phone, more opinions, more criticism, more praise at times. And then you have a team of people now. You have lawyers, you have agents, you have a lot more around it. But players, when they get in the gym, I still think players are players. They want to be coached, and they want to win, they want to compete, they want to get better.
Well, getting to talk to somebody that loves the game like you do and is really good at it, it's fun to get the insight. So, Steve, I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's great seeing you.
Some of the thoughts of Rutgers head basketball coach Steve Pikiell. When we come back with more of the Sports Life, our parting shots in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
So I graduated last year and got a job. Sweet! But it got boring. I didn't really have a purpose. Then I started volunteering with Community Action. It's a statewide network with 29 agencies across Michigan. Community Action helps people with food, housing, utilities, childcare, senior services, you name it. I found my purpose, helping people, changing lives. Won't you join me? Call 1-855-MI-ACTION or go to MichiganCommunityAction.org. Sponsored by Michigan Community Action and Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
If you have diabetes, listen up. If you have insurance, you can qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends and spend more time in range, significantly lowering your A1C. More importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and if you've seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for your own CGM right now. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances will cover your CGM, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the Aptiva Medical CGM Health Hotline right now.
800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. That's 800-948-6912.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Anybody ready for a burger?
I'm State Fire Marshal Rich Schmiller, reminding everyone to think safety first when it comes to outdoor grilling, whether it's charcoal or gas. Never overload your grill with food. Excess fat and grease will create large flames. Grill outdoors and never inside or in a garage. Never leave a grill unattended and always keep a fire extinguisher nearby. For more tips on safe grilling, visit the Bureau of Fire Services website at michigan.gov/BFS.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back from Weather Sports Live. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, fun chat with Steve Pikiell, the head basketball coach at Rutgers. He has a way of getting to the heart of things, Dalton, and let us know what's going on. And it's always fun to talk to Ant Wright. I mean, he is so much fun to talk to about college basketball, and he has a way of being right on the money. Well, having said all that stuff, it is now time to get ready for our parting shots.
That's right. And by the way, if you missed any of that, make sure you give us a follow at Sports Life Now, is where you can find us on Twitter or X. That's again at Sports Life Now. We'll have the full show posted. For my parting shot, I wanted to highlight a little bit of a zag to the zig that is currently going on in college basketball. We have bemoaned consistently through the years that neutral site games are really killing the non-conference portion of college basketball. And you've seen a couple more finally signed with Indiana men's basketball. They're going to play Kentucky on a neutral site floor yet again. And some of that you just have to agree on just to even make it possible, right? With some of these different programs, it's the only way they'll do some of this. But in women's basketball and in the Big Ten, there's something pretty special happening. UConn and Iowa will have a home-and-home in the next couple of seasons. This upcoming year, Iowa will travel to UConn to play, and then in the 27-28 season, UConn will go to a sold-out, you can assume, Carver Hawkeye Arena. That's going to be awesome, and it's great to see that in the sport.
And it is, and I think the men ought to take a look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's university basketball. Why not play where the school is, right?
Yep.
Okay, enough of that. Okay. My parting shots go back to how I think NIL might be the magic ticket for the Big Ten. Well, remember back in the day when we talked about Big Ten football? Oh, man, it's slow, it's stodgy, and just can't compete with the SEC because they're just way too quick and way too good. When it came to college basketball, is there anybody better than the ACC? No, of course not. Well, since the NIL has kicked in, this year alone, the Big Ten won 9 national championships, and some of them were pretty big ones. Indiana for football, Michigan men's basketball, UCLA women's basketball. And then just for fun, throw in Northwestern women's lacrosse, Penn State men's wrestling, UCLA beach volleyball, USC women's water polo, Washington men's soccer, and Wisconsin women's ice hockey. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. And at the end of the day, I think the point I'm trying to make here, Dalton, the one thing that's changed the landscape isn't the geography, it's not the weather. What has changed is the resources. The Big Ten has more resources than any other conference in America, and as long as it continues down its current path, next year I might be talking about more than 9 national championships. Okay, so with that, that's a wrap for our show this week. And as always, appreciate everybody joining us. And we should also note that you can find us wherever you find your podcasts, like SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple. And make sure to check us out and hit subscribe. As always, thanks to the Big Ten Network. The Sports Life is produced by Dalton Shetler. Our executive producer is Wendy Hart. So on behalf of Dalton, I'm Will Tiemann, and thanks for your time.